Oh, good evening, Yak Watchers. I didn't see you come in. Please do take a seat and let your Uncle Harry tell you a bedtime story. Long, long ago, in the land of the 90s, there existed a video games magazine by the name of Computer and Video Games, although people used to call it Games Video-y and Computer, because they were idiots like that. But those of us who could read enjoyed its monthly reports from the latest entertainment expos, reviews, previews and news that kept you coming back every 30 days for your CVG video games fix. In particular, the fanzine-style pull-out section at the very centre of the magazine would provide hours and hours of fun on its own. Free play, as it was known, included tips, cheats, letters to the editor, and the fantastic Retro Computer Corner, a must-read for retro gamers of the day. Except back then, it wasn't so much retro as in the near past. But a particular favourite of the 12-year-old Harry Yak would be the melting pot, where people could send in their own ideas for video games, accompanied by a hand-drawn screenshot, in the hope that they would one day catch the eye of the video game developers and have their idea turned into a blockbuster. The young Harry would literally laugh out loud before laughing out loud was fashionable, at the silly storylines that people would suggest, and the witty remarks that the magazine's staff would provide. On the day the March 1998 edition of Computer and Video Games was released, he rushed down to his local supermarket to pick up his reserved copy. He probably said something rather boring to the shopkeeper like, "Have you got my copy?" And he would say, "Yeah, here it is, £2.50, or however much it used to cost, I don't know. I probably used to beg my parents for that money as well." But Harold grabbed his trusty jam sandwich and turned immediately to the melting pot section of the magazine, whereupon he was greeted by a sight that would live with him for the rest of his life. Before him, on the yellow page, was printed simply the greatest contribution to any magazine that ever existed, by anyone, ever. Here lay an outline for quite the most incredible game, based on the film Dawn of the Dead. And I will now read to you this contribution. My game called Dawn of the Dead. It is like Resident Evil, but different zombies and gun, and you can drive truck and car. You can control Roger or Peter, small p. They can use shotgun and sniper rifles and pistols and AA-33. Also get food for max health and ammo from gun shop. You can kill zombies and Joyrider anytime you want, but you must find some way to get out in mall full of zombies. This game might last 70 hours to complete this super game. 3 cheat for game. First cheat, you control any Joyrider. Second cheat, you will never die. Third cheat, you can use chain gun. This will beat Resident Evil 2. You can use memory card to save this game. So, Yak listeners, you can now get a greater understanding of why this particular contribution to this particular magazine in this particular month stands out in this particular Yak's mind. I threw away my copies of CVG some years ago, you know, space saving and all that. But I often wish that I didn't. So, when a copy of this magazine appeared online, I immediately downloaded it and flicked to the very same page just as I did back in 1998. And of course, the memories came flooding back. Strangely, the article was pretty much exactly the same as I remember it, even down to this screenshot. And what I like most about this is not the tie-wearing zombie with some unnamed weapon, and not the shoddily drawn crosshair, but the box that surrounds this screenshot, because they have used a ruler on 3 sides and then gained the confidence to suddenly draw it freehand on the 4th on the left-hand side. Now, it is entirely possible that this contribution was provided by someone who is not a native speaker of English. However, it is not my intention to take the mick out of them today. I was something of a strange child who found this stuff hilarious, and to an extent, I still do, as evidenced by the fact that I just laughed my backside off reading that out then. But it is more likely that one of the staff wrote this as a joke, because they used to do this sort of stuff all the time at EMAP Publishing, the jokers that they were. They used to sneak this stuff in and then see if people would notice. Well guys, I noticed. Or at least, I think I did. Good night, Yak Watchers.